Joe, good? Awesome. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Week 4 football press conference. Head coach Charles Kelly joining us. Coach, now that you've had a chance to review the film, saw everything you needed to see out of the Georgia Southern game, kind of put a bow on that one. What are kind of the focuses going forward into this week?
Well, the thing, and I told the players this after the game, I was very proud that they competed for 60 minutes. We gave ourselves a chance to win, and I'm very proud with the way they competed in the game. We understand as a team that we did too many things in that game against a good football team that you can't make those kind of mistakes and put yourself behind the 8 ball like that and, win on the road. I mean, we knew going in the challenge that it was. They had already played 2 really good football teams. Listen, when you play football every week, it doesn't matter about records. But the fact of it is we've got to improve in a lot of areas, and our focus is going to be on what it takes, for us to get better individually, as a group, as a whole team. But the one thing I told our coaches that you cannot say that our guys don't play with effort and they won't compete. But what we've got to do is make sure that we, do the little things that it takes to get the results that we want to get. We had an opportunity to play a lot of young players. We played 10 true freshmen in the game, Saturday night, and they had an experienced team. But the only way you learn how to play this game and you play is to play, and you learn from those experiences. I like the character of our team. I like the way they're made. But we started Sunday night, and we'll go back this afternoon, and we'll work on those little things that we got to do to make sure that we can get the results that we want.
Share some thoughts on Murray State after your initial evaluation of them.
Well, first of all, I have a lot of respect for Jody Wright and his entire staff. Jody probably took one of the toughest jobs that there it was in America. He basically had to start from the ground and build it up. The first thing I noticed when I watched them on both sides of the ball is they're a very well coached football team. And when I say that, they make adjustments. They do things offensively. If you give them a certain look, they know what play to go to. Same thing on defense. They make the adjustments and they play extremely hard. From what he's done from the time he got the job till now, I mean that's a tough deal when you basically have to replace the entire football team. So they're very well coached. They have a lot of people with ties to Jax State and ties to our community. I mean, their quarterback Joe Ogle is from here. He does a really good job. He executes. He understands the offense. He knows what to do. He's a really good player. He's got a couple of guys that are good in the perimeter, and then on defense, they have some players that are they've got a couple of DBs that are really good. They got a defensive end, Kobe number 0, Kobe Roberts. That's he does a good job. I mean, he plays the game the way it's supposed to be played. But for us, like I said, I have a lot of respect for what they've done and what they're building. But for us, it's about what we do. In the game of the night, I give Clay and his team a lot of credit. They made the plays that they had to do to win the game. But our players will tell you it's never going to be about the other team. It's going to be about what we do and how we got to focus on ourselves. I think our players are excited, first of all, of being able to play at home again. Our fans, our students, our alumni, our faculty, all the ex-players. I mean, our guys enjoyed being with those guys. So it's a great opportunity for us to come back home and play in front of our people. And I think our players are excited about that.
We'll open it up for questions. Joe, you go first.
Yeah, Joe.
Of the 10 true freshmen who played, who stood out to you?
All of them showed flashes. I think probably the 2 that stood out to me were Chris Johnson and Quay Hood. That was their first time playing a good bit. I think they played about 12 snaps on defense, but when they were in there, they didn't look out of place. I mean, they played. It's tough playing inside, you know, D tackle and nose guard as a true freshman in this league. But you know, they stood out. I thought Max Sanders did some good things at linebacker. He has flashed the whole time he's been here. He made a couple good plays in the Liberty game. But like I told the freshmen, the more you play, the better you get. It's like sometimes it's always been this way with true freshmen. You're that close to making this play. Well, once they play a couple games and get that experience, now that play happens automatically. And I'm sure there's some more guys that did some really good things, but I'm glad we were able to get those guys in there.
Mark?
Could you go over the situation at linebacker, who's healthy, who's banged up?
So Aiden Thompson's going to be out for a while. Thaxton Gallagher will be day to day. He will be questionable for this week. I think we got a chance to get Miles Butler back, and then of course Walker is more healthy, feels better than he has, in a while. And then Kari Bendoff is a freshman that has really flashed during camp. I mean, our whole team will tell you that. I mean, he flashes a lot. So, and then we got some other guys that we're working there, but that's probably the situation right now.
Mark again.
Walker's from a local high school. Could you talk about him and what he's done to impress you?
Well, the first thing is Walker, I think, is one of the first ones I met when I took the job. The first thing I noticed about him was how he covered kickoffs. I mean, I'm like, to me, that tells you about a guy. And I remember watching him, I'm like, who is this guy? And of course, he's played safety before, and he can really run. He's really instinctive. And then I know in the past, like over my years of coaching, big safeties like that they have a tendency to be really instinctive. So we worked him at linebacker, and I mean, he was natural. I mean, he just instinctively, because he can go sideline to sideline. And honestly, he probably one of the biggest surprises when I got here. And I hate, he had the injury, during camp, but he's bouncing back from that, and I think he's got a really bright future here.
Coach, the resiliency of your guys when you got down a couple of scores to be able to fight back, get that 3 and out, and get a score before the half. Did you learn anything about your team, or was that not shocking?
No, that wasn't shocking. I mean, these guys, our team will fight. They'll fight you. We've got to execute better. It's about discipline, execution. I do think our team is disciplined. Okay, we just got to execute. I mean, we've had, I think in 2 games, we've had 3 penalties for 15 yards, or maybe 4 penalties. I mean, that tells you a lot about our guys are trying to do the right thing. We did not tackle very well in this game. I mean, it was obvious. But the missed tackles, like, for example, the issues that we had on kickoff coverage, the first thing that goes to my mind is this has got to be an effort deal. Well, when you turn the film on, by the time the guy caught the ball, we had 5 guys inside the 30-yard line. It wasn't a lack of effort. It was just the execution when we got there. A lot of the missed tackles that we had 6, 7 guys going to the ball, almost overrunning, because of their effort. But we gotta do a better job of leveraging the ball. But their character and their resilience and how they play, no, I'll take them anywhere.
Others? Mark?
You mentioned last night that you're aware of how your players, your staff may see you on the sideline during a game, that you don't need to show panic. Was there anybody who you picked up that mindset from, to be aware that people are watching you?
I think I'd have to give the credit to all the guys that I work for, really. I mean, all of them, every head coach that I've ever worked for, they got different personalities, but they were all, when things got tough, it just, okay, let's focus in on what we've got to do. I tell these, both of these guys, young men, are on our leadership council, and I tell them the speed of the leader determines the speed of the pack. And if they see panic, then they're going to panic. And my message to them and the media at halftime was, listen, we got good news and bad news. The bad news is we played about as bad as we can play in the kicking game and on defense. I'm just up front. I think these guys will tell you, I'm going to tell the truth. That's the bad news is. The good news is we get the ball back right now and we got a chance to tie this game up. And which they believed in that. But we just got to come back and keep working on the little things. But yes, as a leader, you got to make sure, and there are times, they'll probably, some of the things that show up in the game, they will tell you in practice, I'm a little bit different, but there's a time and a place for everything, and being able to, I think that's the whole key of being the head coach is you got to know when to push certain buttons and when to push other buttons.
Others? Mark?
It seems like Gavin's getting better each game at quarterback. Could you talk about his progress?
Well, first of all, I'm going to say Gavin's very coachable. All of our quarterbacks. I said this the first week. Every quarterback that we carried on a trip, I'm comfortable with these guys. But I think Gavin, and I give Clint Trickett a ton of credit for this. Clint has done a really good job of coaching him. And he is receptive to the coaching. It's not like he's a guy that is coming here and saying, well, I know it all, I got it all. Some of the things that we've taught him, it's his first exposure to, and I think he's developing confidence, not only on what he can do, but he's developing confidence with people that he's throwing the ball to. And even in the run game and things like that, he's making good decisions, and he understands, listen, I've said this before, the number one characteristic of a good quarterback is decision making. And I think Clint has done a good job of teaching him how to make the right decision. Now, there's things we got to clean up. There's things he's got to get better at, and you can't ever look back and say, because once you think you've arrived, all right, that's when you're going to get bit. So he's just got to keep working that.
Last thing from me, you've mentioned before you take a lot of extra pride in special teams.
Mm-hmm.
Have you identified anything about their kickoff return for a touchdown
Yeah.
that you want to fix?
Yeah, so the first kickoff where the ball spit out, field position, so I used the analogy in here the other day about a punter. He punts it, 5 times and averages 40 yards, that's 200 yards. Well, they had 170 yards in return yardage. So if Cam Cook had 170 yards rushing, he would be Conference USA Player of the Week again and probably be National Player of the Week or close to it. Well, it's the same yardage. The first kickoff, and we had played very good on the kickoff team. That has been one of our strong points. And as we go down there, we have a couple of missed tackles. The guy's a good player. We missed a tackle and there's a seam hit. Now they get the ball on the minus 40-yard line. It's hard to play when you're on this side of the field all the time. Well, the second time, we looked at the coverage and we were like, hey, we're fit up the way we're supposed to. We're going to kick it deep again. So on the kickoff return, we had 2 guys that got out of position. We were right where we were supposed to be. Guy makes a move this way. We try to do somebody else's job. I tell the guys, you're trying to farm somebody else's land instead of farming your own. And that's what happens. When you don't do your job, now you leave a seam. It's no different defense. Okay? Kickoff coverage and defense is the same way. If there are no seams in the defense, all running backs run the same. There's nowhere to go. Same thing on kickoff coverage. If you leave a seam and you leave a good athlete a seam, he's going to find it. And then once he spit, it went for a touchdown. So it's things that can be fixed. It's not, it was fatal in that game, but it doesn't have to be fatal the rest of the year because we're going to have to do that. The thing, and I've mentioned, you and I've talked about this before, we do 3 things every day. We evaluate, we develop, and we recruit. And so we gotta evaluate what we're doing, all right? Is the scheme sound? And then we gotta evaluate who's doing it, you know? And that's, we've done that, and we take a lot of pride, you know, in that. We've been good so far this year, up until that point. But, that's critical in a game. I mean, I don't care how football has changed, it's still field position. I mean, our first 4 possessions, so we were on the minus 40-yard line. They return a kickoff for a touchdown. Then we're on the plus 33. So they're on their side of the field on the 33 and the 38. That, most of the time, that's gonna result in 28 points real quick. So we gotta make sure we fix that. And the first thing to do is identify the problem. Now what we gotta do is fix the problem.
We'll wrap it up, Coach. Lastly, just share a thought on Pearson and what he's meant to your team as a leader and also the offense.
You know, Pearson is very similar to Walker. He's one of the first guys that I remember he's not the biggest. He's very athletic. He's very athletic, but he's very instinctive, you know, to play the position he does. Sometimes he gives up a little bit in size, but I can tell you what, nobody plays any harder and understands what we're trying to do. And you know, most people that had the injury that he had last week couldn't have played in the game. He could play, and he played really well. And you know, what we say, we want to be fast, we want to be physical, we want to be tough, we want to be disciplined, and we want to compete. I mean, he basically describes everything that we want to be. So, and I tell our coaches that if that's what kind of team we want, that's the kind of guys we got to look for.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
All right, thank you.
All right, fellas, come on up. All right, closest to me, tight end Pearson Baldwin. On the other side, linebacker Walker Osteen. Pearson, we'll start with you. Just kind of talk about what Coach mentioned, grinding through last week's game and having one of the best games of your time as a Gamecock.
Yeah, I would say just dealing with that injury, just fighting through, wanting to be there for my teammates, and then also just when my number was called, just answering and wanting to help out my team.
Walker, you're coming off of a career game as well, making 8 tackles, co-leader on the roster last week. You mentioned focusing on the details and getting ready to play linebacker. Now that you've had the chance to play that position with a couple of different people around you, do you feel a lot more comfortable in that role?
I mean, yeah, I would say it probably would make me a little more confident just getting those reps and getting back into it.
Awesome. We'll open it up for questions for the guys. Mark?
Walker, could you talk about what brought you here to Jax State and the success you've had here? Has this been a bit of a surprise, or is this what you were anticipating? Talk about that.
I mean, I really just came here for school to start. I mean, I thought about walking on, and that's what I did, and I always thought I would be able to play, and it's kind of just how it worked out.
Joe?
Yeah, Walker, could you just talk about the injury you had back in August and coming back from that, and how are things now?
It's getting better. It's just slowly just swelling going down and getting back to feeling kind of more normal. So I mean, that's really just.
Austin?
Yeah, Walker, I just want to ask about the resilience of the defense. You know, you guys let up 31 points in the first half, came back and only let up 10, I believe, in the second half. Can you just talk about how you guys just, never quit?
I mean, it's pretty much like Coach Kelly was saying, just not really looking at the scoreboard and just, keep playing hard and try to, just do your job, and that's really what it comes down to.
For both of you guys, how difficult is that, just ignoring the scoreboard, just getting ready for the next series that you're out there?
I would say Coach Kelly preaches to us all the time, just not looking at the scoreboard, no matter if you're up or down, just playing the next play. and just going out there and do your job, just no matter what the score is.
Jared?
Walker, I know you played against Jim Ogle in high school. What do you think about being able to face him again?
I mean, that was a while ago. I mean, I guess it would be cool. I don't really remember too much from high school.
Mark? Did you have one?
Pearson, could you talk a little bit about the way you guys have improved each week on offense? It just, not just at quarterback, but it seems like it's just all the way out.
Yeah, I would say just week by week, just trusting the game plan and being more comfortable with what's being called, having trust between all the players from quarterback, running back, O-line, tight end, receivers, just everyone being on the same page and just really diving more into the offense and understanding it more, and just being bought in to like what we have to do to succeed.
Walker, what's your favorite part about game day at home?
By playing the game in front of the home fans, I guess.
Pearson?
Yeah, same as Walker, just enjoying the atmosphere, everyone just having a good time.
Awesome. Mark?
Walker, I imagine you're really busy, but do you get many opportunities to talk to your brother?
Yeah, I talked to him a little bit.
What do you guys talk about? Is it football or other stuff?
I mean, just everything really. Mainly football, but it's a little bit of everything.
Last call? All right, guys, thanks for your time.